No. So you're not. No, it's a Matter Hacker, which is my new job where I sell. Cool. I think we're ready to go. So come check it out, right? Yes.
This will make no sense until we get there.
Okay.
We were talking about doing something tomorrow.
Somebody's keys are in here. Oh, so they don't forget their food. That's smart. Because people forget their food in there all the time.
Oh god, I'm forgetting food in there.
Yeah. Oh, this is safe. Cool. Okay.
I never forget.
I'm gonna listen to the audio and see how it goes as I talk. I don't know if you guys have ever tried listening to audio with like a listening to yourself with like a 5 second delay is very difficult to do.
Yeah. You wanna join? Yes. We'll start your flash stream. So like on YouTube, then just
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. I'm always on the phone. Okay, let's see. It's a long delay. It's like 30 seconds.
Which is better? This one's almost a minute.
Cool. Hello and welcome everybody. Oh, I'll pause this music. Boink.
Because right now, no.
I think it's just because of the way that the internet works and stuff. Yeah. It's a presentation that Quinn could do at some point. Cool. Can't give away all the secrets. Welcome everybody, both in person and also online. If you're not watching this online, then me giving you instructions on how to do that probably wouldn't be helpful. So I won't do that. For those of you in person, thank you. This is mostly for the people in person, but we like to put things online too because lots of fun, hilarious, and interesting things are often said during show and tell. And even the people who come in person sometimes want to go rewatch or check out certain parts of it. So, but this is about bringing people together in person. And so if things don't go perfectly online, that's okay. We just want to make it a fun night for the people here. I'm going to take this out of my ear so that I can talk without having like my brain explode. It's awesome. I see some people I haven't met before. Some people I've known for a long time but haven't seen in a while. So that's awesome. Tonight we have some very exciting speakers and some last minute additions, which is also very exciting. For those of you who haven't been here or aren't familiar, I think everybody's here, but we're Social Media Makerspace. We're a makerspace. We make things. And we also try to do fun like events that have to do with like the maker world and creativity and just interesting nerdy things, anything nerdy really. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So welcome to Show and Tell, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it out of your house. That's not an easy thing to do. I know that the default easy thing to do is to stay at home and not do this. So thank you for doing this. And with that, we have our first speaker tonight. I've known Rich, or as he's known in some circles, Good King Richard, for I think like about 2 years now. Really interesting guy. He does a lot of immersive stuff as well as game design, video, and physical board games. And tonight he's going to talk about how he incorporates those things together, as well as puzzles and cryptography. It's a really exciting presentation that we've been talking about doing for about a year. So I'm happy that we're doing it, and it's going to be awesome. So please give it up for Rich. And this is mostly for the online.
Hello, hello. My goodness, here is going to be the quick bit of setup. I put that microphone very close to my face. I'm sorry. Do, 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 do. All right. And magic is happening in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, panic. The TV doesn't feel on. Well,
Use the black remote.
look at that.
Such an interesting presentation.
I feel so good. Oh. 3406. I think this is gonna work. I made a whole presentation. We're connecting. We're live. There we go. I was so happy because I went in Canva and they had this ridiculous video game thing. So here we are. Back to full screen, everybody. Come on. There we go. Screen share. Perfect. Worked out. Hello. My name is Rich, and I'm here today. I wanted to talk a little bit about a lot of weird stuff. I think that's my plan. So I'm thinking about this in terms of a mixed reality adventure, because that is a phrase that I get to say all the time as the things that I make, and everybody says, what does any of that mean? So I think I kind of want to go on a little bit of a journey with that. Did you see that animation? That's why this is still in. So today what I want to do, I'm an interaction designer, and that kind of means I design game, I design puzzles, I design weird things that people do during things that happen. I don't know. It's very complicated. So I go with creative weirdo a lot, which I'm very happy about. And today what I want to talk about is mixed reality. Mixed reality is a lot of different things, and I came into it from a very weird space, a very wonderful space. I can't wait to go through these things. But when I think about mixed reality, I have to stop and think about reality for just a second. So let's pause. Hold on there. I want to define some realities for you that you're very used to already. So we first have the physical reality, the world that you manipulate every single day. Reality. There we go. Great. The other ones you're going to have to go with me just a step. Like, can we consider dreams to be a reality?
Yeah.
Kind of? I don't know. Certainly it's things that happen that are not in our reality. They're kind of separate, but they're individual, so maybe you want to go with fantasy there. But a movie is a fictive experience that we watch that we all see together. So now it is a shared reality, even though it is not actually reality. I'm going to go weird places. That's where I'm going. A book is a reality that you picture in your head. It is a story that someone else has granted to you, and you make it into something else, something more detailed, more alive. That's a reality. Why not? So when I think about mixed realities, I want to take two of these realities, whatever the heck they are, I want to jam them together and make something weird. So let's go through a few of them. A video game, but online, but not multiplayer. No, an extension of a video game, a weird thing. A lot of games will take us outside of the game itself onto the internet to build communities and do weird things. This is a project I did years ago, it feels like, called the Emotocode. It was for Call of Duty World War II. And they wanted me to develop a series, a 48-hour Cypher marathon based on Twitch emotes. That is a true story. And so you would watch this stream, and it was really just this. And then some of those emotes would light up for a second in weird patterns. And you had to figure out what in the world that meant, what code I was hiding, what was going on. It was extensive. And then at the end of that, you got a pass to, you got the game, which was cool. So people were competing, they got millions of players, it was going nuts. Very weirdly, this was all based on the Enigma cipher. If you ever want to get into cryptography, you need to focus on the 1930s, because there are beautiful books that were written right then where they don't realize what's about to happen. And everything changes, but they feel so right, and they are in that moment. And looking back is really, really great. Anyway, this was one where they wanted us to do an Enigma cipher again, an Enigma cipher based on Twitch emotes. Very weird. Combining weird stuff. Video games, extensions. Other examples of this are mysteries in video games. There was one in Infamous Second Son that led you outside. There was a murder mystery where you had to go on websites and deal with a whole case, cold case. You had to do origami, all sorts of stuff in order to solve that. Two realities that are weird. This is another one I really enjoy. I love alternate reality stuff. We'll talk more about that, but this is one of my favorite early projects. We took over Mount Hood for the Overlook Film Festival because Timberline Lodge is related to The Shining, I think. Don't quote me. But it was a huge horror festival, and so there's movies being shown, and there's people, and they're walking around, and they're doing all sorts of cool stuff. They're going skiing in the middle. It's great. And every once in a while, you turn a corner, and there's a detective chasing a suspect around, and the suspect gets away, of course, but the detective stops and asks for your help. Please join our story. We got to go find this place. Would you be willing to get a group of people and go to this haunted house over here, which is a weird escape room haunt experience? All sorts of nonsense. I love these kind of big, huge games, and I wish there were more of them. In this one in particular, where we didn't abduct these people. They paid extra for this. But these are some of my friends, actually. This is great. Although I didn't know it at the time. But building a game like this is really fun and really crazy. The Overlook Film Festival has a history of doing it, and everybody goes way over the top. And please study the Overlook Film Festival experience if you are interested in these kind of alternate reality games, because it's a beautiful weekend of crazy stuff. Where was I going to go next? I had to fill this thing with puzzles. That's my job. I'm the cryptographer. Excuse me. I'm the puzzle guy. So this had a sequence of puzzles that were all based on Mary Queen of Scots ciphers, which is a very specific one where you've got a lot of symbols that mean words, and without that information, you can't figure out what's going on. And so we wanted to unlock that slowly over time. It was a really perfect puzzle for that sort of thing. But alternate reality is a reality on top of the reality that we're used to. You are here to go to a conference, but now you're inside a movie and it's playing, and you're a game and you're a player at the same time. And I think mashing those things is what makes things like that magical. We're getting to it. Oh my gosh. A tabletop game as a video game, which is more normal than it seems, but I got hired to create a text adventure game, very much like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game that I used to play at the museum until they kicked me out. Built this all in Twine, and it is a recreation of their game as a story-based scenario that is also a puzzle that you have to solve, and when you solve it, there's another puzzle, and also it's about a doomed spacecraft that you're trying to get off of, so every once in a while, meteorites crash into it, and the game breaks all the time. The code is nuts. I loved making it. It was one of the silliest things I've done. But it was another one that people were like very confused about. Like, it's a board game. Why did you do this? But I think doing this is also kind of what makes it magical and got people excited. And then they played the game and they were like, I want to go play that Twine game again. Anyway, these are all the things that I did previously, and they got me the job that I have right now, which is working at Animal Repair Shop, which is leading to the thing I want to talk about a whole bunch. Animal Repair Shop, if you do not know them, also 42 Entertainment, they did these two ARGs that are kind of like massive, very massive. The Why So Serious campaign was for the Dark Knight movie. It was a 2-year ARG spanning across the country. It was online. It was all sorts of things. It got people involved in some really crazy ways. They did another one for Tron Legacy called Flynn Lives. To give you weird details into breaking realities, this is a cake with a phone number on it. You've already joined Joker's army by then, so you're willing to do whatever weird stuff somebody tells you to do when you get a cryptic text in the middle of the night. This one, go to the bakery nearby. Whoever gets there first, because they're sending it to a large group, they want it to be successful, so 20 people in Cleveland all got this text at the same time. They're all rushing to that bakery. Whoever gets it first gets this cake, which is a phone number on it. So you take your phone and you call the number. You don't hear anything. Nothing happens. And then you hear a phone start to ring because there's a phone wrapped in saran wrap inside that cake. You tear it open immediately, like right there in the bakery. They don't know what's happening. And then you get this message from the Joker telling you the next weird thing to do so you can get Harvey Dent, I think, to become the mayor so that we can have the movie that we're going to have in still like a year and a half at this point. This was a wide-ranging campaign, puzzles everywhere, like just weird stuff, right? And so alternate reality things like this let us just be a player in our space, but not in our space. Also, are we kind of in the movie? Like do we have the power to affect the movie? Was a big question during this entire project, which was great. I don't think this is going to come through very well. This picture's way too small. Getty Images. This was from the Flynn Lives campaign, and I want to tell you just one little story about this. This was also at San Diego Comic-Con. It was a big thing that led up to the release of Tron. It's not called Tron 2. Brain, come with me. It is Legacy. The next one's Ares. There we go. Got it. Thank you. And in this one kind of went more video games, so there were a lot of games to play as part of this that were coded as old-time video games, but with modern processes. You would solve them to learn facts about them, to put into the machine and solve and solve and solve. That picture on the far right is the success story, which was at Comic-Con, where everybody knew to go look for these movie posters. People are searching for them all over San Diego. They find them. They're connecting online through communities, through message boards, through whatever else. And eventually they all get to one location. And at that location, there is a tarp hanging like on the corner of the wall. And as they start to approach, they pull a rope and the tarp falls. My computer's mad at me. And you see Flynn's, right? Flynn's Arcade, it's right there. All the lights inside come on. And these people go nuts. They get to walk inside the arcade from the movie. It's old style, like it feels like it's from the 80s. There's 80s music playing. And they're going nuts. And there's a Tron machine in the back that they're hanging out at. And what nobody realizes is that after about 30 minutes or so, people are back there playing the Tron game. Like that was in the ARG. There was a whole thing about getting a high score. Maybe I want to try and get that high score. So they're all playing, they're trying again. Finally, somebody does it. And the lights go nuts, right? All the lights get dark. The music, which was this 80s before, like transitions to like the Daft Punk style of the movie. And the Tron machine itself is like bolted to the wall. The wall like cracks and swings open. And everybody's freaking out. The lights are going nuts. And they step back down that hallway. They see light cycles on the sides. And like the bar from Tron World, the end of line, is right back there. Music is playing, like people just hang out and have drinks and party for the rest of the night. And they get to choose which of those spaces they want to be in, right? They have now brought this computer reality in a movie into our reality and made everybody part of it. And that reveal moment was all crazy puzzle based and nuts. Whew. I love that story. Anyway, that's the job I was very prepared to get. Working in these things, I love it. It kind of puts all my pieces together. I think playing with reality is a lot of fun. I think if you take two realities and you smash them together, you will create something magical and weird that people are going to be excited about. But during pandemic, we pivoted. We're storytellers. We like to build these big marketing campaigns, and nobody wanted to do them anymore or could do them anymore, so we didn't do them anymore. That's the way that went. And we still tried to find something that would allow us to mix realities together. And now we're getting into like what the term actually means in the world today. We made this game called Panic in Gotham City, which I'm going to show pieces of in just a little bit. And it's good. What we wanted to do is give people the opportunity to play a game that blended a physical world and a digital world together. Those were kind of the mixes we want. And traditionally, when you hear mixed reality, that's what we're talking about. Although that's less fun, like, you know, all these other ones are great. So the big idea with this is you get a 10-pound box full of stuff. It is artifacts, memorabilia, weird things. Some of them make sense. Some of them are written material that you can read through, but a lot of them aren't. There's pictures, there's bits of evidence, there's strange things. And a lot of it, let's see. Yes. Almost everything on this screen, actually, has a moment in the game where you take the app built into your phone, you take a look at it, and it comes to life. And what we were very happy with it is that tech has advanced to the point where we don't need to cover things with QR codes, anything like that. Beautiful pictures and images that come to life with animations, and they work seamlessly together, which I'll show you a few of those that I really enjoy. It's perfect. It's so great. 10-pound box was a lot, but we were really happy with how this game came out and the reception that it got. It is 10 pounds and probably 9 hours to play through. We do not recommend it all at once. It comes in envelopes. It comes in 7 acts. Like, take it an act at a time. But it is an original Gotham story. We put it out along with a comic book. Harley Quinn is our hero, and so we got a Harley Quinn #1, which she has an adventure, which is fantastic. It's like a heartwarming story, and I love it. It would have been very smart for me to bring copies of that tonight, so you'll have to give me your mailing address, and I'll I'll have to bring them by at some point. So what we wanted in this one, this is a terrible slide. Why did I do this? Because she's doing the thing that I like that people do, right? Is there's this combination that happens at the table. We are so used to a video game is kind of like a gateway, and you're just in the gateway. It's you in the digital world, and that's kind of it. Your phone is the same way. You're looking at your phone. It's very rare that you were like popping out for any reason. Someone's bugging you, or you got to know where to go. You're in the game. You're focused. And we wanted the phone to be a magic lens. It's a magic mirror. That's all it is. It's a tool for us to solve problems together. So my favorite is kind of this. We're seeing things. We're seeing strange. Like, this is an animation. This is terribly put together. Who is telling this story? But it is about, like, I'm going to look through my phone and tell you some things, and you're going to be looking at the artifacts and tell me some things, and we've got to work together to figure that out, which was a big design principle as we were going into it. Like, it can't just be one person on a phone the whole time that solves the whole game. It has to be kind of a joint community process. This led to more things. I think this is at Gamma. We were showing off some more ideas. That big game was huge. Could we do it in a smaller space? Could we show off a Wonderland theme game? Wonderland's already magical. Perfect. Let's go. And again, designing all sorts of cards and puzzles and things that seamlessly would feel like just a bunch of stuff, like materials, memorabilia, artifacts, bits from that world, and then the app would make them come to life. And this was 3 years ago, I think, 2 years ago. And then something changed entirely. Just this stuff. Magic Leap and HoloLens are two like VR devices that have been really good. They're mostly AR devices. You see your world, and we put weird stuff in your world. But as soon as Vision Pro came out, as soon as MetaQuest started pushing pass-through, suddenly now you get to see your own world all the time. You're not having that sick nausea thing because everything is lit and bright and shiny and moving and terrible. Like, you're in your living room, and we put weird magic stuff in your living room, right? So this is just like some stuff from other games. It's nothing like our game, which I'm very excited. It'll be coming out in September of next year. I asked. Hopefully we'll have information about that we can show off soon. But it's been really fun to kind of build in this space because it is suddenly a world where I can put things around that'll feel like they're in your house. There are games that do this really well. Demio is a great one. That makes you feel like your space is yours, your reality is your own, you're in your world, and yet we have control and we can add whatever crazy things we want to. If we want crazy artifacts falling out of the ceiling, if we want a Wile E. Coyote, we can do that. It'll be less explosive. All right, I want to transition to taking a look at that for just a second so you can see some of the weird things our game does. Did I have one more slide? Oh yeah, I did. There we go, perfect. I think that was right. All right. Can I just take over? Do I have to stop it there? Let's see what happens. Oh, I own this TV now. All right, so, why would I start there? There we go, Infinite Rabbit Holes. An Infinite Rabbit Holes production. I don't think I actually want, we'll get a little audio, there we go. So this game, as you go through it, right, the first thing you do when you open the box is you download the app. It gives you a big how to play video. It's very cute. I'll tell you how to play though. And it's got this long list of things, but most of them are going to be blacked out. You're not going to know what they are. You won't have access to them. You have to play the game in order. But we're very clear about what to do at any moment, what to pull out of the box, and how to put it together. I want to look at a couple key moments. Oh, goodness. I want to go to that one. Oh, actually, I take it back. I wanted the next one. That is a good friend of mine. We comped in his Joker voice. And they were like, no, that's good. You can keep it. So what I have right down here, so basically down at the bottom right of this, you can see that swirl. In our game world, that is entering Joker Vision. That's entering the AR interface that'll show off all the crazy stuff. What I have over here is a game board. I'm just going to leave it folded into a quarter because I don't need the whole thing. But I'll show you kind of like, there is a game board there, and then boom, right? It is now the whole digital thing. We were playing around with proximity audio and all sorts of tricks. We've got our Sorry, is this showing very well? It's showing all right. All right. But now we're playing this game on a digital space that I can kind of see. I mean, this is a tough one to play as a physical player. You can't see any of these buildings. One of my favorite things is as we're playing this game, usually on the board we're building these buildings, some of them out of cardboard, but a lot of them are still digital. Like we'll build this pink and white one right here. Oh, actually, I'm taking it back. We build this one, the Gotham Times building, but not this one next to it. And the number of times people reach out and try to touch this building makes me laugh every time. I mean, it's just you lose track of what's real and what's not. So this is a quick experience. Actually, do you want to play? So what we're doing right here is we're just trying to take pictures of a little couple pieces of graffiti. I mostly wanted you to do the last one. So what we wanted to do with this game was make sure that people kind of stood up and walked around, so you might have to move around just a little bit. If you look this way, it should be good. And this city is something that we have full control over. We change maybe... Oh, I see one there. You see kind of the yellow?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That should be one there. Yeah.
It's easier to see on the big screen.
We actually, when we have large groups playing the game, instead of hovering, I brought an iPad that I usually demo on. But we tell people to stream just because now I can just sit back in the chair. You do all the work. I'm going to tell you where to go. Look up. I see it. It says, what happens?
Oh, yeah.
Look at all this very odd zoo-themed graffiti. So we have this overlay of the town. There's animations going on. We do a quick asset swap, and now we have a slightly different. You're actually in the perfect spot. The final piece of graffiti, which was not there before. No, it was not. Right, and then because we have the app ready to go, we can just seamlessly move into all the video we want. I've never looked at that timer, Ben. I'm so sorry.
There's a vigilante on the loose in Gotham City, and it ain't Batman. What a day for him.
I'm pressing the buttons, trying to skip this. We've heard this.
I'm a doctor again. Apparently, traffic was a total zoo this morning. I can't believe I got a second chance.
Working with a license is complicated.
Gotham's most insane villain than me. I know. I've seen that phone and letter I sent him before. Aha! Time to get to work.
So what we wanted as well is that moment, right? So that we've got this video. I don't want to replay. No, I want to move on. And then what it tells us to do is grab this file folder. Oops, sorry, I apologize. That's not what I want. We're not playing the whole game. So it tells us to open this envelope right here, and what we use for the assets is exactly, I have to grab it out of my bag. Oh yes, right? Those are the things. We wanted it to all feel like part of the game, so that is that right there. When you open it up, it's gonna say, you know, grab this file folder. You can kind of see at the bottom, those artifacts are all right in here. So it's meant to make you feel like you were in the game as much as possible, that they are the same space, the digital and the physical. We won't go through that puzzle, but just to show you one of my favorite things, and then I'll be done, I swear. Do I want to do that one? We'll do that one. All right. Oh, this might be a little tricky. Am I set up? Great. All right, so I'm going to put so this one wants us to scan these ink blots, and we chose this specifically because we love this watercolor animation.
After he wasn't satisfied with busting lone drug dealers, his next target was much higher profile. Ace Chemical CEO, Warren Mason.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Keep your mouth shut and destroy the evidence.
Banks thought he could get away with collusion,
This is my favorite trick.
but Anarchy had a knack for digging up.
We learned a lot here about. I like anarchy. Sorry. The only downside about streaming this is I cannot hold my hand steady, and I'm sorry. My goodness, what are they going to do? All right, so I have a lot of fun with this game. There's a lot going on, and yeah, as you notice, like the AR is really, really good, especially if you're using iPhones. And if you're using Android, you will have a million issues, which is unfortunate. But it's because this thing has LiDAR, because they wanted Face ID, and it's great. And as long as you've got an Android that has that, cool. Otherwise, here, I'm going to stop the screen share there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where to end. This game is really fun. I'm going to have it over there. So after this is done, if you want to check out a few things, I have to run at like 8:30, 8:45, so I'm going to stop talking. But there are some fun moments, some great puzzles in there. We didn't solve any puzzles tonight, and I'm so sorry. That's because you have to solve puzzles on your own. That's why I write puzzles. But I certainly have a whole bunch that you could work on for sure. That's all. I think my email was on that. If you ever want to get in touch about puzzles or weird stuff or anything, let me know. Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there anything server side to make it work, or is the whole thing on device?
That entire app is all on the device.
Nice.
Yeah, everything there. We are, because there's no multiplayer that matters, right? So multiple people can use their own devices, but they won't sync together. But that's a thing we've talked about. And so what we're working on now involves more multiplayer, and wow, the complexity goes up so quickly. Yeah. We talked a lot about like the lifespan, especially with a physical object. Like the lifespan of an app is a huge deal that we talk about a lot. So we are constantly updating it to make sure that like it's got the right sensors, that the game still works in the way we want it to, which has been good so far on Apple. And we're working on Android. It's Android's fine. Don't worry. It's just not my favorite. Yeah.
For the in-person experiences that
Mm.
you've worked on, how long from like inception to completion would it usually take?
Ooh, it kind of depends on vibes. That one at oh my gosh, at Overlook, there were puzzles that I worked on way in advance because we needed them to be scripted and part of the escape room experience and the haunts and all sorts of stuff. We needed to do blocking for like, there was definitely a moment where you're in a room trying to do a thing and the suspect comes home, and so everybody's got to hide and we got to sort all that out while you're solving puzzles. But I was also writing puzzles on the way there, like on the drive up the mountain, just like, got to get this one done. We got a new idea. So it was very fun. There was one that we did that was track the killer's path through Timberline Lodge. And so that was like a security camera style puzzle. It was great because it was so hard that I had to play the detective or the deputy to come in and just hint people so they could get through it. I learned a lot that day. That was a good one. So I don't have a great answer, but long enough to play test and have other people tell you that you're wrong is the best. We'll put that in there because when I don't get that, we have problems. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Rich. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rich. That was very cool. I've seen like I think one or two small examples of that before, but never that much. That was awesome.
You saw the dollar bill.
I think I saw the dollar bill. Yeah.
The dollar bill plays that entire city game.
That's very cool.
It's great.
Yeah. So give it up one more time for Rich. Up next, we have somebody who's been a member here for a while. Mostly comes to process art. So it's one of my favorite things about Show and Tell is that, during the week we have a different club every night. We have Cosplay Club on Mondays. Give it up if you go to Cosplay Club. Woo. That was really sad. Give it up if you go to Cosplay Club. There you go. Tuesday nights we have Process Art Club. Woo. And then Wednesdays we have Maker Mixers, so we do like different fun mixers every week. And Thursdays we have Electronics Club. But because of that, woo! But because of that, sometimes we get people who have been here for a long time and have never actually met each other because they're coming on different nights of the week. So show and tell is a great opportunity to come meet other people who are using the same space and at different times. So Lauren is one of those people that has been here been a big part of the community, but some of you might not have met before. So welcome, Lauren. And anybody who has met Lauren probably knows that she is Pedro Pascal's #1 fan. And we're going to learn a little bit more about why that is tonight. So Lauren, if you want to come here, and we'll just do the chair right here. Yeah. And give you the computer. There we go. And here's the
Change the
microphone.
slide,
Just do the right arrow, or you could click. Yeah. I'll give you the
Whoa.
microphone as well.
bright. Hello.
Awesome. Can everybody?
I can't even tell this is on.
It doesn't do anything in the room. It's just for the live.
Oh, okay. Hello. So let me start it. Oh, it looks different than it did on my computer. Okay, well, that was supposed to be in the middle. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna talk briefly about the history, about why, how I found out about him, why I got into him. Then I have some photos to show you. Then I'm gonna go through the qualities about him that I love, show you my art, and then I have recommendations, many of which are on the papers that I passed out. Okay, so how I first became obsessed, in 2023, I watched The Last of Us. I like dystopian, so that's how I got into it. Actually, I really had no thoughts about him when I first saw him. He wasn't really my type, and I was just like, okay, some older guy, whatever. But then, after I watched the whole show, I saw this picture. And I said, "Oh my God! Like, what is that? Like that? Like, like that's because if you know his character is very rough and has really like no personality. And then so, so, I mean, he's very like stern, you know. So I was just like, who is this? Like, how is this the same person? So that got me intrigued, and I snowballed. And I went on and I just, you know how like social media will just keep showing you things when you click on things? So I couldn't help it. It just kept showing me more and more. These are some interviews that I just would watch like over and over whenever I was needing a pick-me-up. And this one you have to see because, let's see, open link. Because a big, is it working?
I have to hit escape because it's in full screen. And now you can see the new tab. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. He's known to dance, and I just love it. Okay. How do I go back?
Oh, and then just hit X on the other YouTube one.
On the what? I have to know how to do that for the next one too.
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay, I wasn't done.
Just hit the left arrow key.
So basically, I found him at a time when I was kind of depressed, and I just like I felt like I had like a boost of serotonin whenever I would watch videos, interviews of his. It's actually like the fan base calls it Pedrotonin, like it's a thing. You can get a sticker of like a pill bottle that says that. So these are some pictures of just from his childhood because he was really cute, and I wanted you to see. And yes, he was blonde, and that's his dad. At the bottom, a lot of people think that's Pedro because he looks like him in that bottom picture. And yeah, he has 3 siblings. Javiera, Nico, and Lux. And there's a big gap in age difference between him and his older sister and the younger two. And then his parents are Jose and Veronica. And let's see, let's go to the next one. The next one are more current pictures that I really like. I really like these pictures. The red outfits from the Met Gala from 2 years ago, and that was a big hit in the fans. The top right one is him at Comic-Con 2014, which to me was the best day that he ever looked. He looked. So I love that day. And if you notice in the bottom left, it says Pedro Balmaceda, and that's actually his original last name. But he took his mother's last name when she died when he was 24. So now, yeah, he goes by Pedro Pascal. I thought that was really sweet. And he also has a tattoo of her initials, her signature on his wrist. Okay, so the qualities that I love about him: he's kind-hearted, he's compassionate, supportive. He's really the best brother. Losing his mom when he was in his 20s, and then his two younger siblings were like little kids. He has said that, it made him very protective and kind of take on a little bit more of a parental role. And he wanted to always show that he was there for them. And then he's been quoted as saying compassion for others is a very basic thing. It's easy to do. And if you look at the top picture, he's with Sarah Paulson. She's an actress that he's known her since they were like 18 or 19, and she's one of the people that's helped him when he was a struggling actor for 15 years. So he has said that like people like that, they'll never have to pay when they go to dinner because he has to, repay them for what they did for him. And then, he's a big dog lover. That's his dog he used to have named Edgar. He rehomed him, unfortunately, because he got really busy with travel, with work. So he couldn't, devote the time. And then I like the bottom picture because he's the only one in the cast that went up to pet the dogs, and that would be me. And then on the left, it's him and Bella Ramsey from Last of Us, and he's taken on a really adorable kind of parental role, but they're also kind of equal. It's funny because he's very, kid-like. So if you ever get a chance, watch interviews of them too, because it'll make your day. Next quality, sensitive. So he's emotionally candid. He's always open about talking about his personal things like grief and his insecurities. So I really appreciate that about him. And he's not afraid to show emotion. This is when he won the SAG Award on the bottom left. The right is him acting. It's in Last of Us. But I swear, just whenever he cries, you can't help but cry. Like, that's, yeah. And I don't actually know if I have time, so I won't play that. Oops, wait. Okay, I want to go back. I'm trying to go back. Left arrow, okay. You can read the quote. There's something about him, that he's not afraid to not look super macho, that it's okay, as a man to be emotional. Okay, next one. Obviously, he's funny. I love him being so self-effacing. Look at that. He used to be on Twitter. He's not anymore because he left when Elon bought it. But he used to be known to be really heavy on Twitter. And it says, I saw a guy that looked like a less attractive Pedro on my way to the gym today. And he said, that was me. And then, there are a lot of haters online, and someone said they were losing respect for him, and then he corrected their spelling. He's very active. He does that now on Facebook. He answers a lot of haters on Facebook. And he was amazing on SNL. That's his character on the left. You have to watch him on SNL. And let's see. He has charisma, obviously. But he's very approachable. That's what a lot of people will say that have met him. And that where he's winking right there, that was at Comic-Con 2014, and somebody was asking him what he was doing later. So, but it's cute because he's like flirting, but like he's also kind of scared and like doesn't want to. He's not. He's shy about it. It's cute. Okay. He's resilient. So there's a quote. He said, I was bullied for being a weird, sensitive kid, for being an attention-hungry kid, for being in love with movies and theater and art. So he actually did switch to a high school that was focused on the arts because of that. But he's obviously resilient, and he spent 15 years as a struggling actor. You could see some of his earlier roles at the bottom. You could see the Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's kind of known as his like first big role. And he was living, paycheck to paycheck. He talks a lot about being a waiter, and he was fired like 10 times, I guess, because he couldn't. I don't know. He just couldn't deal with people. And then the loss of his mom. So he's very open about that, and he says that he feels none of his success would be if not for her in a recent Vanity Fair article. And then authentic. He has no filter. He says what he thinks. I really want to play this one. I don't know how much time I have, but. Okay. Oh yeah.
Do you ever look at Instagram accounts
Oh, it-
devoted to you being
oh,
a
yeah.
heartthrob when you're feeling down?
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite account?
It's called Pedro Pascal fan account.
Do you ever look at
Yeah.
Instagram accounts devoted to
So I just, he just can't lie. Like he's just always himself. Sorry. And yeah, so basically anyone that knows him in real life, they'll say he's the same person, off camera as on, and I really appreciate that. Let's see. Okay. So he's also an advocate. Oh my God. Sorry. He's an advocate, especially for the trans LGBT community and immigrants and refugees. His family are refugee. I'll talk about first trans. So his sister, Lux, is trans, and he's a big advocate for that issue. If you see, he's wearing a Protect the Dolls shirt that was to raise money for a trans cause, and he's very vocal on social media. He doesn't care what about all the haters that he gets. And I love these quotes. You can read them for yourself at the top. I always love that he talks about being there for the underdog and people that feel like others. The top right is him at a women's march. And then immigration, he's very passionate about because his family are refugees from Chile. He was 9 months old when they had to flee to Denmark because his family was part of the opposition to dictatorship. And then after Denmark, when he was still like a baby, they moved to Texas. So he really feels passionate about that and appreciates his family for how they struggled. And then finally, he's relatable. So he lives modestly. The fans love that. Like look at the shirt. Like he's always wearing that Laker shirt. There's even an Instagram about that, like for that Laker shirt. And so and he's known to just live modestly. He might be living, they said, his dad, I think, said he lives in a back house in Venice. It's like he hasn't changed because he became famous when he was older. So he even said once that he was kind of fully baked when he got famous. Not that way, but like he was who he was, and he's not going to change. He flies economy, like he's very down to earth. And then sorry. Oh my God, sorry. And then he also was like, he kind of acts like he's one of us. Like he always talks about other movie stars as if they are, above him. Like he worked with Nicolas Cage and he was in awe of him, and Sigourney Weaver, all these people that he, grew up because he didn't become famous till he was like 38 or 39. And then anxiety and self-esteem. So those are more personal ways I relate. He's talked about having anxiety. It says there in that quote that he's had it, since he was a child. And I do too. And so I just really appreciate that he's open about that. And he's talked about his self-esteem issues that he if you look at the bottom left, that was from his recent movie, The Materialist. And he was saying that he was supposed to play like Lothario, but he had gained weight and he didn't feel very attractive and that he could fit that part. So I really appreciate whenever he's very open about it. And that's my art. So he's really kind of caused me to be motivated to make art because I get really lazy. And so this is using Photoshop and, oh I'm like blanking. What is it called even on my iPad? Procreate. Yes. Okay. Thanks. And I learned how to for this. I learned how to do like the animate. Like I actually had to learn something to make this thing on the top left. And this up here is part of a series. I was doing like a card deck for a graphic design class. They started getting tired of me and my Pedro stuff too. And then lastly, I have recommend. Oh, first let me say, sorry, one more thing. I have a Redbubble if anyone's interested that I do put my Pedro art on. And also Pedro Tober is coming up if anyone wants to participate. I say that seriously. Every October there's something on Instagram where you can, participate with all the Pedro fans in making art. And every day is a different prompt. And that's how half my art is made because I feel the pressure and I want to be part of it. And then recommendations. So this is just some of his lesser known work that I want to mention because not many people know about these. Touched by an Angel episode. He was really amazing in that. Iris is a short film. You can find that on YouTube. He's really good in that because you can't tell at first if he's bad or good. Bloodsucking Bastards is really, it's kind of like a campy movie. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a good movie when you first start it, but he's obviously the best part, and he's really good in it, and I recommend it. And then Prospect is another movie that I don't know that many people have heard of, but it's also, he's really great in it, and that's actually where Star Wars found him from, and they saw that, and they said that they wanted to put him as the Mandalorian, so. And then The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is really great. You all know this meme probably, that's why I put it. So you don't know the movie, but you know the meme where he's smiling at Nicolas Cage. That's a really good movie. Wild Robot, he plays Fink the Fox, and it's funny because he has said that that's the character that he's like most like out of all his characters. And so that's a great movie in general. Freaky Tales, I was fortunate enough to see that in theaters. It was at the Lemley. It was kind of small release, but it's really good. And he's in the last act. There's like 3 different stories, and it's generally a very good movie that I recommend. And that's it. Oh, wait. It was supposed to say the end in the middle. It did, but it's gone. It's okay. And yeah, that's it. If anyone has any questions, I could tell you anything about him.
I also just want to point out that Lauren has something. Is this art you've made or
No.
collected?
So this is art I've collected. Could you hold up the one with him on a sandwich? So there's I'm supporting a lot of small businesses. There's somebody that does celebs on sandwiches. So that's like some kind of Chilean sandwich, I don't know what it and then there's one of him as a merman. I found that randomly at a art fair. I was like, how could I not get that? And there's the glittery one there. I commissioned that one. It started looking more like Leo DiCaprio, but I had her make some changes. I was like, the mustache is not quite right. The eyebrows are not quite right. I think it turned out okay. And then, this one, let me just plug this one in really quick. Yeah. Wait, what is it? Can you do it? Yeah. That was at just some random like horror event. I just, I can't not get it if I see him. This is from the Cuddle Cults. They do different. They have the giant one. I wasn't going to pay that, but they have all of these different celebrities, and it says at the back, "Daddy is a state of mind," which is a quote of his. And that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Oh, I'll just leave it.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. Thank you, Lauren. Here, I'll take the mic also. Yeah. Well, thank you, Lauren. We're going to take a little, maybe 5-minute intermission, like bio break, if you want to grab a drink. But before we do that, some things coming up. I know this date is wrong, but it's in 2 Saturdays, so whatever that is. This is just, I didn't change the flyer from last show and tell. Sam is, as they say, in the dirt, which means at Wasteland Weekend. This was a tough show and tell because we're competing with both Wasteland Weekend and also a furry convention. So We had another show and tell that was during Anime LA or Anime Expo. That was a tough one. So with our crowd, when there's conventions and expos and stuff, it's hard to get numbers. But yeah, we have Maker Melee. If you haven't been to Maker Melee yet, highly recommend. If you have been to Maker Melee, give a little cheer. Woo! Martin will be texting you all about it, so be nice. Also, for anybody who's been getting texts from Martin, raise your hand. He's a real person. He does individually text each person. We're not sophisticated enough to have automation for that. So also, even if you do get the automated text that's like, social medium says blah, 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 that is still us. It's just when we send it through the thing, it automatic. So yeah. So like if you get a thing that says like, are you coming to this? Feel free to like text back or be like, hey, Martin.
I'm in classes messaging all over.
Yeah.
So.
In between. And then another thing that you do definitely want to sign up for is the Halloween party. And a reminder, all of our events are free for our members. So if you're already a member, you could use your discount code at checkout. I know people are having a hard time with this specific event, but for most events it should work. You just use your discount code at checkout and then you get the events for free. If you're not a member, the events are usually $25. Our Halloween party is going to be really sick. It's the week before Halloween. We have some big prizes and I'm working on some more prizes for the costume competition that we're going to do. But we're also going to have a DJ, private magic shows in that room, tarot reader. We're going to have this room as kind of like the party room, and then we're going to have the game room as like the chill area for the game store next door. So it's going to be really fun. Then we're going to have Artist Alley in the back for artists to come sell their stuff. So if you're interested in having a booth or a table to sell things at the Halloween party, let us know. It's going to be free for artists because we want to just give you a place to share your stuff. Yeah, with that, feel free. This bathroom is a green door in the back. If you want snacks or drinks, just let Zoe know what you got and she could ring you up. If there's people here that you haven't met yet, take this opportunity to say hi. Everybody here is very nice. All right. And break. Yes. 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 I think you're next, but even if you're not, we'll make you next. Sure. You're next now.
That was funny. Quinn's making a slideshow.
Oh, nice.
and I put a little chibi there for reference. And I walked around all day with a frying pan, and at one point beat Prussia in a sword fight with it. True story. And then we have my Jade Harley cosplay, which is from a webcomic called Homestuck. And if you know what that is, don't look at me. And if you don't know what it is, don't look it up. With the Hungary costume, this was stuff I pulled out of my closet and my friends' closets. And I bought a hair clip at Claire's. So this was very like MacGyvered. Like it was things we found, things we bought, a little bit of sewing on the part of a friend's mom. The Jade Harley costume was when my grandmother started to teach me how to sew. She did most of the work. I taught myself how to do the beading around the symbol on the shirt, which I was very proud of, and I made the little ears. This was my first experience with cyberbullying. There was a notorious Tumblr account that gave unsolicited advice specifically to Homestuck cosplayers, and I was told that my costume was too brown. I was photographed standing under trees. It was black. Anyway, and my ears were too floppy. Wrecked my self-esteem at the ripe old age of 13. By the way, 13, way too young to read Homestuck. Wouldn't recommend. I started learning how to sew. At first with my grandmother, and when she passed away, may her memory be a blessing, a friend's mom continued to teach me. It was my brother's friend. So my brother would go hang out with his friend, and I would go with him to hang out with the friend's mom. She did most of the work on the Ryuko Matoi cosplay, but she started teaching me how to sew. I was 15. My mom mandated the length of the skirt. I was like, that's not accurate. My mom was like, it's too short, not happening. And I was like, fine. And then my Asutsuyu gym uniform was the first thing I ever sewed by myself from scratch without any help. So that was a big milestone for me. And I also styled the wig, and you can't really see it, but she's got this weird bow happening in the back. And I made like a scuffed picture tutorial for that on Instagram, and the wig company that I bought the wig from featured it, and it was like, I made it, my big break. So that was exciting. That was I was just kind of starting to find my way. How did cosplay lead to design? In a couple of ways. Something called a gajinka is when you take a non-human creature or object. It can be anything from a Pokemon to a teacup, and you make it human. So like the Beauty and the Beast musical, where all the like forks and spoons and cups and wardrobes are like people in costumes, that's basically a gajinka. So we did a Madoka Magica group, and I wanted one of my friends to be included, and I said, how can we do that? Because these are all a bunch of like little cutesy girlies, and we've got like one guy friend. And the answer was, take this little crap and make it person. So, and I was also self-taught, teaching myself how to draw. So that I had a lot of fun with that. And then my like fancy version of Kyoko over here. So I put how she looks in the show versus my kind of like fantastical reimagining of her. To this day, still want to actually sew that piece, but haven't gotten around to it. And then after I moved here, after I graduated from high school, I started getting competitive and competing specifically at Anime Los Angeles, which is every January in Long Beach. So my Freya costume over here was my first time doing like a legitimate masquerade at an anime convention. Masquerade is what they call the cosplay contest. And I won first place craftsmanship in the novice division. So that was really exciting because it was my first competition, and I didn't expect to win anything. Taking first place meant after my first competition, I was bumping up to then competing in Journeyman. So the following year, I competed with my Loki costume, and I took runner-up. So it means I'm still in Journeyman. If I take a first place prize in Journeyman. I'll be bumped up to Masters, which is the top level of competing in cosplay contests. But I learned a lot with both of these, but it really solidified a love of competing in me. Because it's so much fun, like the energy backstage, getting to look at everybody else's hard work and flip their seams and learn from their techniques and make friends who are also passionate about it. And I loved everything about it from making the costume to the design of it, and I decided, okay, let me go to school and study that. I went to CSUN, and CSUN didn't have a costume design degree, so I majored in apparel design and production, which did give me a more overall well-rounded sort of application, because I learned about textiles, I learned about the fashion industry, I had actual sewing classes. So I feel like it was good in a lot of ways. And in my senior year of university, I had WonderCon and my senior fashion show within the same span of 3 or 4 months. And I really wanted to do the WonderCon masquerade, but I knew I could not pull off making a new costume for the WonderCon masquerade and a whole line of pieces for my senior fashion show. So I went up to my professor and I said, hey, I know this is a fashion show, but you know I've been interested in costume design and there's not really a costume. Can I, as long as it, like, is still, like, because we were given a theme for the fashion show, and it was something, the future of fashion, I think, was the theme. And I was like, it's really, like, the book is based, like, in, like, thousands of years in the future, like, it fits, right? And I'm like, feeling like she's probably not gonna let me do it, and she's like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, let's go! Yippee! So I made this one all from, didn't mean to touch the TV. This one all from scratch. This one I had no hand in. I'll be upfront about that. These two I designed, and then we did a lot of thrifting and taking things apart, putting them back together, dyeing them, adding things. The vests I drafted from scratch, and then the green dress, which did not make it to WonderCon, was only in the fashion show. So these designs were based on a book series called the Locked Tomb series, and because it's a series of novels, there's no visual, so I had to design everything myself, which was a lot of fun. Really got my creative juices flowing. I referenced fan art and read and reread passages from the book to get an idea of how the characters were being described. Dulcinea, which is the seafoam green on the far, is that right or left to you guys? Who cares? She was described as something along the lines of like wearing a frivolous monstrosity of ruffles in seafoam green, something along those lines. I don't remember off the top of my head anymore, but I was trying to channel something very elegant, but also very covered in ruffles and flair, whereas Harrow Hark is a decrepit nunlet of the Locked Tomb and paints her face as a skull every day of her life. So it was a lot of fun playing around with the different characters. And that was a tight deadline, and that was a lot to do in a short period of time. Luckily, my friends helped me immensely, so I give a huge thank you and credit to Taylor and Mason and Ari for helping me with that. But yeah, that was my senior fashion show, and what now? I graduated. What am I doing now? Trying to start a small business. Here's the thing. Going into the costume design industry, like in Hollywood, it would be great if I was an able-bodied individual able to be awake for 12 hours at a time and do crazy hours and that kind of thing. I have narcolepsy, so I just go to sleep sometimes. It's not super doable, so I had to pivot because I realized, hey, the costume design industry, not super accommodating. So my dad said, hey, I mean, if you're your own boss, you make your own hours. So we're trying that out. The idea is subtle fandom, wearable, casual stuff. So, you know, there's a time and a place for a t-shirt with like 3 anime characters emblazoned across the front that says Demon Slayer. Like, love it. I wear it. It's great. Sometimes you want something a little more subtle, a little more on the down low, so that when you're walking across the street, someone doesn't go, weeb! Subtle. But something that's still very like mature and elegant and also comfortable and accessible. Because like I said, I am someone who is living with chronic illness. I don't want itchy seams. I don't want tight, like, you know, things that don't move with me, or like unbreathable fabrics, or like, I'm not a stranger to like wig headaches and like the most uncomfortable costume you've ever put on your body. The reason Loki lives here is because I wore it once and I said, that's enough. That's enough forever. So this is upholstery pleather. It's not meant to go on your body. I didn't know that. So, yeah. Now, how do you go about taking a design and then making it 100 garments? It's a lengthy process. This is where I'm at right now. But, you know, you got to draft your flat sketches. You got to finalize your design. You got to create a tech pack. What's a tech pack? If there's time, I'll show you. You got to identify potential manufacturers. You got to begin the sample making process and review and revise and order more samples and finalize the sample. And then you have to create a Kickstarter campaign because you don't have the money to buy 150 pieces off the bat. And you're not even sure that people are going to buy it. You don't want to end up with a garage full of clothes that no one's going to buy. You got to launch your Kickstarter and fulfill your orders. And then if you're successful, you're like, well, do I do it again? I don't know, I'm not there yet. I'm at this point, manufacturing troubles. Here we got, I tried to make a repeating pattern and thought my manufacturer would know what to do with that. And as you can see how it just like cuts off because it's not repeating. Not great. This was the original design of the pocket on one of the hoodies, and someone said, it looks like a uterus. Back to the drawing board. This is the wings on the back of the hoodie. And I'm like, all right, this is how like the colors are supposed to look, and that's how the colors look. And I'm like, what's not adding up here? My guy. So it was a lengthy process. We started with like 3 or 4 manufacturers. We got down to 1. Like we ordered a sample from 1 of the manufacturers, and they arrived. And it was like, excitement, disappointment, excitement. This is gonna need to be fixed. I'm so excited it's psych actually here. There's 13,000 things that need to be fixed. I sent this man like a PowerPoint that I converted to a PDF. So we'll look at that in a second. I want to show you the samples and also this. This is a cool thing. I was supposed to have 2 of these, but this is what they send you when they need you to pick a color of fabric. And there's a lot of options, and taking pictures doesn't really do it justice. So I picked, based on pictures, what color? This one, 64. And it ends up being a lot more blue than I initially thought. So we're going with like 67, I think. Good thing I have this, but when I ordered my first sample, I didn't. So now I'm like, okay, things need to be changed. But this is all of the colors that they offer of this fabric. They were supposed to send me one of these also for the hoodie fabric. They did not. So they're sending it to me hopefully in the next round of samples so that I can actually make sure that things are the right color. But this is important. So it's called a swatch book. So you can see how the fabric feels and what the color options are and that kind of thing. And then we have the samples. And the samples are great. It's a great start, but things also need to be fixed. So here's the hoodie. No. All right. Here's my hoodie. And I think it turned out good. I have complaints, but I was gonna say I have no complaints. I do, but it's a really good start. We've got the wings on the back, much better color situation going on here. I won't get into like everything that's wrong with them. I can point out a couple things. It's also hard to hold things up and the mic, but I'm doing my best. Here's the pants. And there's a really fun thing about the pants, and I'll show you. Oh no, I'm out of time. Too bad. Thank you. I know I'm a genius. I like things to be wearable in a lot of situations and circumstances, and I like things to be comfortable, and I don't like it when I get too hot. And hey, if I get too hot, shorts, baby. But also, I like to keep accessibility in mind, and there's situations where you need your clothes to fit a certain way or feel a certain way. And so I tried to keep that in mind in the design process. Like, one of the things I really wanted was to have like a ring on the zippers so that people with limited dexterity in their fingers could have an easier time pulling it. And I'm still trying to work that out. But that's one thing. This situation, we actually decided to scrap it for this reason. It's like you're walking and it's like jingle bells. Not great, super annoying, sensory overload. But, the hoodie's like super soft and doesn't have weird seams. And, speaking of seams, I did not specify because I thought, common knowledge, the proper seam in jeans and cargo pants is a flat-felled seam. But if you don't tell manufacturers that, they will cut corners. So this is just overlocked. And if you look at like the hem of your t-shirt or like sleeve or whatever, that's an overlock. It's the simplest stitch. It's not particularly sturdy. Fast fashion companies like to do this fun trick where they do an overlock and then a top stitch, and then from the outside, it looks like it's flat-felled. And from the inside, it's very much not. So I specified, hey, next round of samples, this needs to be a flat-felled seam. That's what's proper. It's more comfortable and it lasts longer. I don't want my stuff to be in landfill. I want it to be wearable for a long time and comfortable for a long time. Sustainability is a huge thing for me, and comfort and accessibility is a huge thing for me. So, I want to be able to serve a population of nerds, that doesn't necessarily see themselves catered to in fast fashion. I've spoken to a lot of people with sensory issues, people with different disabilities, and they'll say like, I loved this hoodie, I can never wear it because it has this one seam that drives me nuts, or it has this one part that's too itchy or too tight, I can't, or when I'm sitting in my wheelchair it rides up uncomfortably, that kind of thing. I'm trying to take that into account so that it's not an issue. Obviously there's no one size fits all, there's no universal fix, but I'm doing my best. So that's mostly everything. I don't know how much time I have to get into a couple more things.
I think it's not as I think if you have like a separate thing about the tech pack, maybe we'll save that for another time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we could take a couple questions.
Sure.
Unless there's like one final thing you want to say before we do questions.
I just had this slide to show like where these details come from. So this is Lumine. She's from Genshin Impact. She's my muse for this set. So the constellation up there is over here. Right over here. The wings that you see here are what's on the back, and the flowers in her hair, called intevats, are here on the pocket. So that's kind of how I designed this hoodie, taking motifs and things that are important to her character. The part that looked like a uterus is this motif on her dress. So we had to scrap that. But yeah, that's about it.
Do you have to worry about like copyright with the designs from the?
That's a great question. So Hoyoverse, the video game company that owns Genshin Impact, has a really lenient policy surrounding fan art and fan recreations and things like that. And depending on the like size of business that you are and like how many people you're working with, you can make like 150 to 250 pieces of fan merchandise without having to go and get a licensing agreement with them. So it means that I can release 150 of these sets, and once they're gone, they're gone. I have to design something new, or else go and get a licensing agreement with them. But it's really great because it allows small businesses to show their love of a fandom without having to pay an exorbitant amount of money to do so. She is one of the two like MCs of the game. So when you start the game, you get the option to play as Lumine or Aether. So for my first set, I figured I would go with them. Plus, they're twins. I'm a twin. I have a twin brother. Boy-girl twin sets. Gravity Falls, Maple and Dipper Pines. Like they're my favorite characters. So I went with that. Yeah.
Any last questions?
What is your favorite part of this project so far?
Getting to actually see it and hold it in my hands and actually be like, okay, like we're getting somewhere, has been my favorite part so far, because this has been a lot of like tiptoeing, like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know if this is gonna work, I don't know if anyone's gonna buy it, I have to like do 17 things I've never done before. It's if not for my dad helping me out and like keeping me on track. My dad is an entrepreneur. He started his own business. He's done this before. I would not be where I am. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Give it up.
Thank you.
And if you have more questions for Max, Max is here 4 days a week. 3 days a week, and yeah, feel free to come ask. Yeah, and if you want to learn more about this stuff, Max also as one of Max is one of our maker mentors, which means they also do like private lessons. So if you wanted to like learn how to sew or get into like making tech packs or creating things like this yourself, you can talk to me or Max about how to do like the one-on-one maker mentorship. Awesome. Up next, yeah, cool. We have a very special guest. She has, I think this is your fifth, I think. But she is the master of slideshows. And she's done such things as my celebrity hit list, but then also my celebrity, what was it, hit list? Yeah, so there was a list of celebrities she likes, then also a list of celebrities she'd punch. The last one she did was about Neanderthals and their relationship to Chuck Mangione. And so I'm excited to see what this slideshow involves. But give it up for Savannah and my friends to enemies to lovers relationship with a building.
Thank you, Ben. Isn't there nothing more romantic than architecture? Especially 19th century architecture. Hello, everybody, I'm Savannah. Let's talk about it. So, this is my friends to enemies to lovers relationship with a literal building. That one, right there. And this is going to be a timeline of this year specifically because I don't care about buildings, really. I don't have I study like history and anthropology in college, and I'm doing museum studies in grad school. So I have no relationships to buildings. So, but yeah. So this is so the timeline starts with January of this year. I'm all about it. I'm all about this building, and I'll tell you why. And then in May, I start to despise this building so much. And then in August, last month, it's the love of my life. I love this building so much. Let's get started. So why are we friends? Why were we friends in the first place? Well, this is the best movie of all freaking time. It's called Somewhere in Time. Yes, that's Superman. That's Christopher Reeve. Rest in peace. We love him. And then that's Jane Seymour. She's a hot cougar now. You've seen her in everything, including like Wedding Crashers. She's the cougar mom in there. And they fall in love. It's so good. So it's literal psycho behavior. Basically, what happens is Superman sees this picture of Jane Seymour and is like, I love this woman. And this woman's dead. She's from like 18 something, but I love her. And he manifests himself to time travel to be with her. And that's relatable to me, psycho behavior. I would so do that. And it's literally bisexual panic. Look how beautiful these people are. I watched this movie a few years ago, and I watched it again in January, and I'm like, okay, now this is my favorite movie of all time. I love this movie so much. I could talk forever about just this movie, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for, what is this? So the movie takes place I'm sorry if I block anybody, but the movie takes place in this real location. It's called in the movie, it's called the Grand Hotel. That's Christopher Reeve on a bench. And I looked at this hotel, I'm like, I have to go, and I have to lie on this bench. I have to sniff the ground. I have to do it all to this building. And I find out, I find out that there's an event this year, October 3rd to October 5th. And it's something they do every year for this movie specifically at this hotel. And Jane Seymour goes there every year. And I'm like, I must go, and I must hug her or something. And it's so great. And it would be the 35th anniversary of the movie and the 45th of the book it's based on. 35th of the event, 45th of the movie, 50th of the book. So it's a very big deal. So I'm ready to go. No, I'm not. Maybe not, girl. I'm so sorry, Queen. I can't go. So I'm like, fine. We'll just love and adore from afar. It's fine. So what happened? That was not why this is an enemy thing. If I believe in soulmates, I already do. I didn't know soulmates were a thing with inanimate objects until now, because this building haunted me in ways I did not imagine, because I'm all like chilling. I'm like, I would love to go there someday. But what happened was I took this class. It's called Project Management. I'm taking museum studies. I hate business classes. For me, it doesn't digest well. I am not a business person. This was a literal hell class for me. So I'm like, fine, fuck it. Okay, I'm going to try my best. So I'm looking at the syllabus, and we have to do a final project on something, and the professor gives you options of like what you can do your project on, but you have to pick from her options. There's two. Guess what one of them was? Oh my, who's watching me? I felt like someone was mocking me from like God was mocking me or something. And they're like, you hate this class? You're really gonna hate this thing you love now. So I was like, are you shitting me right now? I sent this picture to everybody because everyone knew how much I love this movie. So it felt so funny. So what happened? I had to do so much shit for this project. Please kill me. I hated this so much. Look how much shit I have to do. So I had to do a comms plan. What the fuck is that? I have to do that. I had to make a budget. This is page 1 of 4 of the budget. Look at those numbers. I had to do, look at this. Okay, I had to look up ridiculous crap for this shit. Okay, I had to look up how much a horse and a carriage rental costs generally, and then I had to convert it in the most impossible converter, because this took place in 1887. There's not online converters for it, so you have to use like something from 1910 to be like, I'll settle for that. That's fine. And then I had to do like acceptable moisture levels in wood. Oh, you want to know? Oh, go ahead. Think about why I had to do that. You can't. I went so deep into this. I had to basically just figure out how much does wood in winter weigh, and then I had to figure out, well, how much did the horses have to carry to transfer the wood, and then and then how many horses would have probably had to carry all that wood. And then I had to do how much weight can a horse pull, which is 1.5 times its weight if it's on wheels. So then I had to do a freaking schedule for like how much I had for how this. Basically, the project was like, how was this building built, and I had to do all this research on it. So I had to do a whole schedule, and then this was my final project was done in July. It was 28 pages. 28 pages. And okay, that's the longest crap I've ever done in my life. And literally, people say crushes on things and people are just a lack of information. And if that's the case, I'm burdened by knowledge. I hate this building so much. That's how much wood, I know how much wood it's made of. I know how much wood, how much a horse can carry. It was built in 90 days and it's the world's biggest fucking building. It's crazy. Who the governor was, because I had to do a thing of like, how would they get the permissions to like build on this piece of land because it's on an island. I'm like, oh, the governor will have to sign off on it. Oh, I have to put the governor's name on my comms plan, duh. And then workers are paid twice as much to get the work done. So I'm like, I hate this. This is the worst. I feel cursed by a witch or something. So at this point, though, if I don't go to the building, I'm really stupid. So I'm like, I feel like I have to go. Someone's pushing me to fall in love with this building. This is why we're soulmates, me and this building. I went by myself on my birthday. I had the best time in the whole world. I went by myself. I fell in love with every part of this fucking island. It was so great. I went poor doing everything. I went on a ferry for the first time. I ate the most expensive meals I will ever have in my life because it was included with my package. And I got to have like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for freezies. And it was fancy crap. It was like oysters and like soup and like duck. And it was and like salad that was like like not looking like a normal person salad. It was so cool. And then I got to geek the frick out. I went to all the filming locations and I put the pictures of the movie on top, and then that's me posing. And then I went to like, oh, there's a scene where Christopher Reeve sits in a chair in a theater, and I knew what number the seat was and how they have a plaque. And I'm like, I found out the day that I was walking around that they show this movie at one of the resorts there. And I'm like, I'm walking distance from this resort and it starts in like an hour. I could totally do this. And I'm still on my walk. So I'm like, and it starts to rain and I'm like, I'm going, I could do it. I'm going. And then I walk in and I'm like, I bet it's going to be full. Someone's going to be in that seat already. No. I was like, oh, no one's in the seat. I'm like, no words. I walk up and I plop my ass down. And then there's a plaque there that says Christopher Reeve's ass was on this seat. And then I'm like, yes. And I got to watch this. And that's the scene from the movie. And that's me in the seat. And I'm like, I'm going to cry right now. I'm going to cry right now. It was so fun. And then there's a gazebo. There's no cars there. They're all horses. I didn't put this in the slides, but I saw someone get run over by a horse over there. They lived. It was kind of crazy, but it was. They lived. They're fine. But they have in the hotel itself, which is what I stayed at the hotel, which is why I went poor because it's really expensive. So I got to stay at the hotel, and they have like a little display of the movie there. So that was so fun. There's an end scene. I'm not spoiling it. Watch the movie. There's a part where I was leaving and I was like sad, like waiting for my taxi, and I'm like, that's the part. That's the part. And I was just staring at this part of the stairs for like until my taxi came. I'm like, I have to say goodbye. But it was so fun. It was so fun. And this is how I feel right now, except I have no money. And it was the best time of my life. I loved it so much. I would love to go there again once I have rich people money. But thank you for listening to me. Thank you. Also, I love this movie so much at the gift shop. I didn't even look at how much this cost. I just bought it. It's $36. It's a music box. It plays the song from the movie. So, this is going to sound so stupid. I play this every day when I start my day because I'm like, I'm back. But yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Savannah. Every time Savannah does a presentation, you never know what it's going to be about, but you do know it's going to be amazing. So thank you, Savannah. And then I believe our last presenter. Yep. So for our last presentation, we have somebody who just came in and was like, was coming to the event and was like, oh, people are presenting. Can I present too? I was like, of course. So if any of you want to present, not tonight because now we're full. But if you, actually we have one more because Quinn's going to present also.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay.
Yeah. So we have Tim and then Quinn, and then we're going to be done for the night. But if any of you would like to present in the future, please let me know, or please let Sam know. If you haven't met Sam yet, you should. But you can let any of the staff here know, and they'll connect you with Sam, and then you can present at a future show and tell. Again, you've seen the range today. It could be anything from like, here's a thing I made, to here's a thing I love, to here's an interesting fact, to what? Here's a thing I hate. Yeah, so just anything that you want to share with the world, or at least 15, 20 people, you can do it here. And it's awesome. So up next we have Tim with a better hat.
Well, thank you, Ben. I feel very self-conscious because, in all humility, I have nothing to share that is in any kind of league with the things that have been so far. I just felt like this was a makerspace and I should bring something that I made, so I get a little bit of cred, you know. Once upon a time, I was teaching middle school, and I pitched that we should have a class called Electric Art, where people took clothing and put batteries and stuff in it. And these are middle school kids, and they're bad at many things, even to threading a needle and tying knots. And so the expectation was, if you can make a circuit and make lights go on, great. But how do you make that sound cooler? And so my pitch was, we do some stuff, so you get basics, and then you pick an object and you mod it and you make it better. And so this was my demo. And so this is a Flippy's hat. It was a thing at one time. There are many kinds. I felt the monster was the best. And it does this. I bought it like this. It did this. Yes. Whoever designed this is a genius, because it's so elegant, it's so simple, and it's so wonderfully ridiculous. And so what I did is I very carefully opened up the inside and I stuck in a pair of diodes. And it's much better if you're not standing in a light. And I put a small battery, and I made my own little pressure switch in the other arm. And so you can go like this, and the lights light up. So I took my hat and I made it better.
Thank you, Tim. That's awesome. And again, like, I just want to point out, right? Tim just brought that today and was like, I'm going to share. And so I want to encourage people, right? Even if you don't have like a PowerPoint, just come share the things you've done. Share the things that you enjoy, because people here love to see it, and it helps inspire all of us.
Oh, it's me in the ocean. Yay. Isn't that so cute?
Then here's your.
Okay, we're gonna pretend like this is well rehearsed and I didn't make this over the break. Capiche? Caposh. Hello, we're gonna talk about a bunch of wires. First of all, who am I? My name is Quinn Iris. I'm a lighting designer. I am a network architect, and I am Underwriter Laboratories' greatest nightmare, at least for tonight. What is going on? Do you think I know? I am up here because they made me. We're gonna talk about power distribution. I work in entertainment. That means that I work with a lot of power. My background is in network technology. That means we work with a lot of low voltage. So the thing is high voltage is a lot more fun. In kind of the world of power distribution for entertainment, we have really, really big guys that we put on wheels. This one's actually not that big, but it's the first result on Google. We have a little bit smaller guys. These all deal with moving large amounts of power to pieces of equipment that need a large amount of power. The thing is, that in the middle of a stage for a concert doesn't look very good. But those musicians with their guitar amps still need to get power. So we have little guys like these. I worked a lot with actually this exact product over the summer, along with little guys like these. This one's actually a little bit different because it uses three-phase power. What is three-phase power? We'll talk about that not today. So what is this pile of wires anyways? Oh, this is one of these, but a little bit different. This is a fun little connector that we use in entertainment called PowerCon. PowerCon is a grounded locking connector. It's very nice. It's very fun. We have a better version of it now. That's not important. If you want to talk with me about entertainment power connectors, we can talk after this. This is something that's a little bit different. I got out of a rehearsal today at about 2 p.m. I want to procrastinate my homework, so I went to Home Depot and got some wire, one of these fun little guys, a 2-gang box, and some power outlets. The wire gauge that I ended up getting was what Home Depot had. Unfortunately, it was too big. This is a 20 amp box, so 20 amps of power, which realistically you only need a 12 gauge wire for. Unfortunately, Home Depot only had 10. Fun fact about 10 gauge wire, it sucks. It's awful. See this? That's bad. You literally can position it in place. What about plugs? For plugs, we are using, this is the map of kind of all of the NEMA plugs. There's a lot. This is what you'll find in your home most of the time. These are the ones that we care about. Why do we care about these two different plugs? Why is this turned? Who is calling me? Go away, Campbell. Why are we using this instead of that normal parallel blade one you'll find? Because this is rated for 20 amps. A lot of what we use in entertainment that lives on the stage draws a maximum of 20 amps, or should. It's kind of the standard, if you will. Obviously, not everything is to that standard. Life is life. But you'll notice that this has both. That allows us to use kind of your more regular parallel blade stuff. Things like your amplifiers, stand lights are a big one that you forget about. All of those things can plug in, or something rated up to 20 amps can plug in. Now, there's something that's a little bit difficult. Oh yes, there's something that's a little bit difficult. If we can plug 20 amps on each one of these, well, that's 80 amps. That's a little bit more than what this little guy can carry. That's more than, if you guys remember all the way back from this diagram, that's more than 10 gauge wire can carry, even our beautifully overspec'd wire. So what do we do about it? Well, nothing. Whoops, that was not the right cue line for that slide. Does this matter? Not really, because this is never gonna see the light of day. This is going to go and sit under my bed until I need some wire, and then we Frankenstein it. Did we learn anything from this? Of course. Have a plan when you go to Home Depot. Don't just buy whatever they have off the shelf. It also is a good reminder as to why sometimes things that you can do yourself are easier to buy from a store, are easier to let someone else do, or just give you an opportunity to fix it later. Thank you guys, my name is Quinn. That's it.
Thank you, Quinn. And with that, that's a wrap on tonight's show and tell. Again, upcoming events, we have Maker Melee the first of the month. First weekend of every month, first Saturday of every month. So that's 2 Saturdays from now. Come check that out. It's like a crafting competition. Pretty much most of the stuff on that mannequin is from Maker Melee that became our unofficial Maker Melee mannequin. We're going to start having, if people remind me, every week when we do, every month when we do show and tell, I say I'm going to take a picture of all the presenters together. And then every month when we do show and tell, presenters sneak out before I remember. And yeah. Anyway, Maker Melee, very fun. Come try it. Halloween party, very fun. Come try it. Weekly clubs, very fun. Come try it. If you have any questions about any of it, raise your hand if you work here. Awesome. Raise your hand if you don't work here but feel comfortable answering questions. Awesome. Talk to those people. And yeah, with that, good night. If there's somebody here who you haven't met yet, I highly encourage you to introduce yourself. That's why we all have name tags. And if you don't have a name tag, then you could tell people why you don't have a name tag, and there's your icebreaker. So yeah, thank you all for coming, and have a great night.